Hey everyone, it's Spencer Hawes here with nichepursuits.com, and I'm back at you here with another video. I want to update you on what's been happening with one of my niche sites and generally what's been happening with affiliate sites across the spectrum. And so you may have seen a couple of months ago, I reported on some income that I made from a niche site that I'm doing for a public case study called Niche Site Project 4. I'll link to the video here on my last income report if you want to check that out. But some things have been happening over the last couple of months. 3 things in particular. There's been an Amazon commission update. They decreased Amazon Associates commissions. There was a Google update. Google updated how they're ranking websites. And we're living, number 3, in the middle of a pandemic. So how do all of those things impact an Amazon affiliate website? Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you exactly my traffic, my earnings, and I'm going to share some of my thoughts going forward. So if this is the kind of video that you like, please go ahead and subscribe and like the video so that you can get notified next time that I put out a video like this. So let's jump right into it. So I recently wrote a blog post on nichepursuits.com that revealed the income and everything like that. So I'm going to refer to that here just a little bit. But first, a couple of updates of things that happened. So Amazon, as mentioned, they decreased their affiliate commissions, and that did have an impact on any site that was monetized with Amazon Associates. So fortunately, half of the income essentially that's coming in to owntheyard.com, my public case study site, is from ezoic ads, display ads. So that was not impacted from the Amazon commission change, but it was impacted a little bit by the ongoing coronavirus pandemic that I'll talk about here in just a second. But first, I'm going to jump into the earnings itself. So let's take a look at this earnings screenshot. And what I did is I actually broke out what the Amazon Associates earnings would have been without the commission change and with the commission change. So if you look at this chart, you can see that in March is when it changed. And so in April is when it changed. And so that's when it starts to split off here. So in May, I would have earned around $4,200 or $4,300 in total earnings from my site. But instead, I made about $1,000 less, right around $3,200 because of that commission change. And then in June, which is the last full month that I'm here reporting on, the site would have made close to $3,800, but instead it made just a little over $2,800. And in fact, the official earnings for June 2020 was $2,857. So am I happy with that? I will say I'm satisfied with that. I'm not thrilled with the earnings, but I'll take what I can get. So despite the Amazon changes, I'm still able to make about $3,000 pretty much passively at this point because I've outsourced everything that's being done on the site. So Amazon commission change is about $1,000 a month over the last couple of months that it's decreased my earnings. So I'm not happy with that. You might ask, well, why don't you change and find something that pays a higher commission? I may still look into doing that, but I'm not very convinced that even if I find another affiliate program that pays more, that it's going to really impact my earnings very much because Amazon has a higher conversion rate and they give you commissions on the entire cart value. And a lot of people do add things over the 24-hour cookie period that they didn't really come to your website for. So on my site, they might buy a shovel, but then tomorrow, within 24 hours, they might buy a TV, and I get the commissions for that. So right now, I'm kind of tentative about completely swapping out all my Amazon affiliate links. The other thing, and here I'll just show you this chart so you can see this in detail. If you look at this chart, you can see the exact Amazon earnings that I had for May and June on the old versus the new rates. So you can pause that and analyze that to your heart's content if you want. The other big thing was Google did have a core update in May. And so here's a screenshot. It did impact my traffic. So you can see I was on this rocket ship through April, just shooting up, even through part of May. In one day, I got something like 9,000 visitors. I just thought this is going to be the new norm. I'm going to be hitting 9,000, 10,000 visitors a day. I was feeling good, but then the update came and suddenly my traffic was flat. The increase stopped. As you can see, it's pretty much, flat here, meaning the growth just stopped, right? And now I'm seeing a bit of a decline, and it's hard to know if that's because of the Google update. Certainly it's part of that, but I believe also part of that is seasonality. The peak season for my site, owntheyard.com, is April and May, and then June, July, August, things start to decline as less people are planting gardens, playing out in their backyard, etc., right? So part of it could be from seasonality. And the interesting thing that I'll just mention is that with the Google update, it wasn't like I went from ranking #1 to suddenly not being found anywhere. I went from being ranked #1 on some keywords to #2, or I went from having a featured snippet on lots of keywords to no longer having a featured snippet. So it certainly didn't feel like a penalty. It just felt like some of my rankings decreased slightly. And that's what happens. There's a big difference in traffic between being ranked #1 and #2 in Google. And that's what I'm seeing here. I'm still happy to be getting 4,000 visitors in a day or more. So I'll take that. I'm okay with that. But it does hurt a little bit. The final thing, the number 3 thing, is we are in the middle of a pandemic. And specifically, what has that happened? What has that led to happen to my site? Well, the pandemic has caused advertisers to be a little bit more wary about paying high prices for ads. So, like I said, about 50% of my earnings comes from Ezoic ads. I thought that I had a screenshot here to show you. Yes, I do. You can just see that I made a little over $1,800. If we zoom in on this image, you can see that in April I was about $2,400 in earnings for Ezoic ads. In May, it was closer to $2,200, and then in June, right around $1,800 to $2,000. So a little bit of a decline, and part of the reason for that is that advertisers are starting to pay less. There's been a dip in ad rates just across the board generally, not anything to do with my site, and that has stayed a little bit lower for me across the board, and that is due to the pandemic. So combined with Amazon changes, Google updates, a pandemic, I thought my site was going to be making, $5,000, $6,000 a month, but instead it's been kind of just flat at around $3,000 a month. So while I'm not as happy with the earnings that I thought I could be getting, I'm okay with where I'm at. And so owntheyard.com here is still kicking. It's still making some money. But I wanted to give you that update so that you could understand these are some of the risks that are associated with having an Amazon affiliate website. There are some potential downsides to having that I've just mentioned. Those 3 things are very real. The Amazon risk, the Google risk, the other risk that at this point is a pandemic risk, right? But there could be other things that happen. But there still are some of those upsides. The upsides for me are that this is 100% hands-free, essentially for me. I have writers and editors. I don't do any day-to-day work on owntheyard.com. New content, as you can see, continues to get published, right? And these are all articles that I didn't write, I didn't publish. And so those are the potential upsides. So for me, I'm going to continue to try and grow owntheyard.com, probably doing a little bit more link building, adding a little bit more content, and we'll see if I can continue to grow that down the road. But thanks for watching. I thought you might enjoy to hear an update of what's happened over the last couple of months to my niche site and just niche sites in general, and the risk associated with them. So again, be sure to subscribe and watch this channel if you're interested in these types of videos. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate your time.